All right, thanks for joining us. Today, happy first day of fall. Can you believe it? Here's something that it just took me by surprise when I was realizing it. Today, this week is the 6th week of classes. So what does that mean? It means this is going by very quickly for some of us. For others, it's they're still kind of settling into a routine, but moreover, for your teens, it means that they are settling into their own school routines. And so you may see that where the first couple of weeks of school, things were a little bit like, what am I doing? How am I organizing myself? Your teens should be into a little bit of a routine now. And this is a really good time to do a couple things. First, that thing that is really good to do is to sort of sit back and look at the way your teen is managing their time. What are they doing? Like, you know that they come to school and then they come home from school or whatever co-curriculars they're involved in. But then, pardon me, how is that time managed? And what I want to talk about with you today is the idea of playtime, downtime, family time. How does your teen manage and schedule time that is not dedicated to schoolwork? So a lot of us feel like a lot of times you find a teen that says, oh, I only go to school till 4, or I only have practice until 6. I have 4 hours a day that I can study, so I can jam as many really high classes that have a lot of homework or a lot of stuff in them, or I can volunteer at 3 different places, or I can work a job and do on my sports. But we really have to make sure that if we are building habits of mind, if we are building the habits that our teens are going to bring into their adulthood and continue on, we want our teens to think about being as healthy mentally as they are strong academically. So that asks us to think about a question. How do we think about playtime? And do we still think about playtime for our teens now? And I'm going to tell you today, we're going to talk about the fact that playtime is actually really important, but it's not the only way to structure your free time, right? So there's a few different ways of thinking about the time that is not dedicated to homework or school or class time or co-curriculars, because everyone really needs playtime, downtime, and family time for healthy development. We know that a lot of times our teens are not getting enough sleep. And we lament a lot of time about the fact that they don't have enough unstructured time to explore new interests, to read a book, or just be kids. And usually we think about playtime or downtime for younger kids, right? We don't really think about helping our teens think about, what are you doing when you're not engaged in whatever you're doing? Like right now, school is their work, right? And homework can be considered work, right? So what are you doing when you're not doing that? And how are you engaged? Because we want our teens to be able to appreciate the moments and appreciate finding time for themselves, because when we take time to slow down, when we take time for playtime or downtime or family time, we have an opportunity to connect differently, either to our friends or to ourselves or to our families. And all of that is really important. And when you think about, the world is the pandemic. Remember all this time when we were all just sitting at home looking at each other and thinking, what am I going to do when I got the whole time with all you people? Now the world is like back up and running. And we're 6 weeks into the school year already. And I know a lot of people talked about being really tired at the beginning of the school year. But we have to really find time and help our teens, our young adults, understand what the difference between playtime, downtime, and family time are, and how to schedule it into their lives, and how to make time that make sure that they have time for it. So let's talk about this. So playtime is just unstructured time. It's just informal. Go out if you have a lot of kids in the neighborhood, play tag, play ball, but not like there's a coach and it's a game and I'm practicing. All we want is unstructured time. Structured co-curricular time is really, really good. There are goals to that. There's kids learn teamwork and positive interactions, but play is not just for little kids. When play is freely chosen, it increases like cognitive skills, it increases your physical health, it increases self-regulation, language abilities, social skills, empathy. So it's really important to help your teens find time to just go out and hang out with their friends. Go be with your friends. Play a video game with your friends, whatever. So what you as the adult in their life can do is help them schedule, find time for playtime, find time to hang out with their friends. Make sure they're not so overscheduled that they don't have time to just hang out with people in person, pursue hobbies, look at what their interests might be, go outside, take a walk, go for a jog, go for a bike ride. That's sort of unstructured time. They don't have to do it every day. They have to find time for it that they know, hey, Saturday afternoon, I'm just going to take a couple hours and just hang out, just be with friends, just be with the person down the street, go for a bike ride, do something that's not structured. So practice for a co-curricular is not playtime. Playtime is, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's just free time and I'm not going to fill it with homework, right? Downtime is completely different. Downtime, no academics, no structured activities, relaxing, resting, just being, right? Just being with yourself. Downtime is something that you can do throughout the day. Downtime can be 15 minutes after lunch, 5 minutes between, if they get from one class to another, just take some time, put your headphones in. You're not doing anything. Downtime. Make sure your team has breaks during the day. Sometimes it's 30 minutes after school, just coming home and just not doing anything, just kind of hanging out, listen to music, play a video game by yourself so that they can sort of reset. Oftentimes, people say downtime is time that they reset from one part of their schedule to the next part of their schedule. Some people, when they come into work, or a teen, I see a lot of teens, a lot of our students come into school and they're just kind of hanging out. They're just kind of being at school because it's downtime and they're resetting from home life to school life. And you may see that with your teen, resetting from school life to home life. They can't just come in and go, become your child or a sibling or a family member. So it's really important that there's downtime. Now, downtime is not sleep. Super important for teens to have 8 to 10 hours of sleep. That's just sleep. That's not counted as downtime. But it's really important because enough sleep has consequences. We've talked about this for health, safety, emotional regulation, driving. When for yourself, when you have not had enough rest, you're shorter, you're quicker to react. It's also a good idea to turn off any kind of media. They always say this, turn off your media 30 minutes before you go to sleep. So I always find a problem with that. I know a lot of people who do, they're like, I have the news on while I'm brushing my teeth, or I have the news on while I'm, or I have my phone is with me or whatever. But if you turn it off while you do your nighttime routine, you're not getting input from media. So you're kind of doing that kind of ritual of just taking 30 to 60 minutes away from all that input to send the signal to your body, it's time to relax, it's time to go to sleep. Family time. This is really important when you think about the fact that you have a teen that's anywhere from 14 to 18. At 18, they will be probably thinking about some kind of post-secondary something. So you want to be able to build the connections between your teen and your family, because when teens spend more time with their family, they feel more supported. They feel safe. They feel loved unconditionally. And as a result of feeling like they know they have people behind them that love them unconditionally and are there for them and know them, then they have better self-esteem and they have better academic outcomes. So finding family time actually is a way of supporting your students' self-concept and helping them academically, because they know someone knows me. Now that means, we talk a lot about finding time every day to check in with your student, finding 20 minutes a week to check in for different reasons, have conversations, ask open-ended questions, just gathering together with your family for 20 minutes, 5 times a week. Maybe that's when you're having a meal. Maybe there's y'all watch the news together or something. But finding time to unplug during meals, find time to connect before everybody goes to bed, or finding time for family activities if there's something that you all do together culturally. But if you can commit to family traditions and even let your teen plan time that you're going to plan together. If you have a family that has time to have weekly family time that you say, hey, we have all committed to having this time together. You can ask your teen to plan it, or you can ask your teen to plan, like, what would you like to plan for meals? If your structured family time is going to be meals, ask your teen to plan it or organize it. And they can organize like any kind of project or activity. If there's holidays coming up, ask your team to contribute to thoughts around what are we going to do for this holiday, or what family traditions, because it gives them that sense of security that forms the foundation so that they know, hey, I know I've got a good place to go to. I know that these people are here for me unconditionally, and I then can take risks. I feel better about myself. And that's different than, hey, they go and hang out in their room. Because family time, the idea around family time is that you get to know each other and you build those memories and you build those connections. Those connections are not going to really be built if they're back in their room and you're in the kitchen or you're in another part of the room. So what's the upshot of all of this? The upshot of this is teens need time for unstructured play. Everybody needs time for restoration and reflection, and to sort of think and dream and have ideas on their own. Sometimes that's that 15 minutes before bedtime that you just spend sitting quietly by yourself off in a space in your home. Maybe it's on a porch, maybe it's in a room that's not being used, maybe it's in your room, maybe if there's a shared bedroom situation, it's another part of the house. But it's time for reflection, downtime, just time for yourself, not on a phone, not connecting with other people, just reflective time. And it's good to build that habit of mind in your student so that they bring those habits and they see the benefits of those moving forward. You want to be able to build a good foundation, because post-secondarily, your student may not be living with you. You do that through family time. Family time can be 20 minutes a day. Maybe it's mealtime, where you sit, you connect, you're together, and that means phones are not at the table. This is time when you, as the adult, are building the connections with your students. You are finding time to ask open-ended questions, listen to them, problem solve with them, find time to just learn about them, what's interesting for them, because it's important that they find time, they review their schedule to find time for connection outside the home, connection inside the home, and connection with themselves. If you are sitting down with your student now that we're 6 weeks in and you start to say, hey, let's look at how you spend your time, and you find that there just is really no time, then that might be a time for you as a family to think about if you want to review, how do you spend your time? How are we staying connected as a unit? Because there's a lot of benefits to setting aside time, and there are extraordinary amounts of benefits for you to spend time with your team and build those connections and those bonds that your teen is going to then lean on as they're going through high school, and certainly as they move on post-secondarily to whatever their experience is going to be. I want to thank you very much for joining me today to talk about playtime, downtime, and family time. I want to invite you to join me again tomorrow, where we're going to talk about helping your teen advocate for themselves. So we're 6 weeks into the school semester. We're a third of the way through school this semester already. Interesting. Now is the time for your teen to start thinking about how are they doing in classes? Have they reached out to their teachers? How are they partnering with their teachers? How are they partnering with you? What are they doing to say, hey, I think I need a little bit of extra time for something? And how are they accessing that help? So we're going to talk about ways your team can access help or any kind of guidance or support that they need, either from their student or from their teacher, from their peers, or from tutors at school, or from you as their sort of mentor in this whole thing. We'll do that tomorrow at noon. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great afternoon. I know it's a little bit of a not great day, but enjoy the afternoon and enjoy the first real day of fall. And I will see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.